all of you for joining us today. I won't talk to you very, very long, but the first time I came up to Fort Nelson, the first thing somebody said to me was, "What are you doing here?" And now that I keep coming back, nobody says that to me anymore. So I'm really glad to be back, because this is a part of the province. The answer to that question when I was first asked it is, this is a part of the province that drives the economy all across British Columbia. So every family in our province. So that's why I'm here. And I was just up at the Spectra gas plant. And of course, you know, the Spectra gas plant really processes so much of the gas from the Horn River. And I was talking to Bill Streeper about what that means for people here. And he was telling me the story, and I'm sure there are a lot of you who could tell the same story, about how his boys moved away to find work. One of them to Dawson, one of them to Whitehorse. And then when the Horn River got going, both his boys came back. And the best thing about it, his 7 grandchildren came back. And here they are in Fort Nelson. His wife is happy, and Bill is happy, because their grandkids are here. And that is the difference that economic development makes. And so in this election, we have a pretty clear choice. Because what we say, what Pat Pym and I say, is yes to economic development. Yes to natural gas, and forestry, and mining, and agriculture. Yes to jobs. Yes to growing our economy. And the stark contrast between us and the other guys is that they say no. And Adrian Dix said today he thinks we should go slow in resource development in British Columbia.
No.
Well, does anybody here think that British Columbia was built by going slow in resource development?
No.
No. And of course, when Adrian Dix says he wants to go slow, what he really means is no. The NDP say no to resource development every single chance they get. And they invent process, duplication, bureaucracy, paperwork as a way to slow it all down so that it doesn't happen. That is not what built British Columbia. That is not what built the Peace River country, the Northern Rockies. It's not what built the Northwest. It is not what built the Cariboo, the interior, or the South. Has not built British Columbia. And we have a chance to say yes to a generational opportunity that is going to transform this province, just the way W.A.C. Bennett transformed British Columbia when he powered up the North. When he powered up British Columbia and made economic development happen. This opportunity to export natural gas to Asia with liquefied natural gas is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. 100,000 jobs, $100 billion for our prosperity fund that will put our province on a path to becoming debt-free for our kids. The opportunity is just enormous, and they would say no. Well, I think it's time we said yes in British Columbia. We need to keep saying yes. And we need to be that generation that has the strength and the courage to say yes. Because weak leadership will give us a weak economy. And Bill's kids are going to go work somewhere else. Take his grandkids with them. We need strong leadership, because that's what gives us a strong economy here in British Columbia. We are built on resources. And we should be proud of that. So last, I want to pay a little bit of tribute to Pat Pym, if I can. Your MLA. Because I remember when I was running to become the Premier, Bill Streeper was in the audience when I came to Fort Nelson, and he said, "What are you going to do about our fair share? We want our communities to get more of the resource that we export down south." And I said, "Bill, I'm going to work on it." Then I went to Victoria, and I turned to Pat Pym and I said, "Well, I promised Bill Streeper I'd do this. What should I do?" And Pat Pym put together a fair share agreement for the Northern Rockies, something you've been asking for years and that you deserve. And it was your MLA, Pat Pym, that made that happen. Important. It's not just for the Northern Rockies. It's important for all of the communities in our province that produce resources. Because these resources belong to you. They belong to your communities. They belong to all of us in British Columbia. But it's frustrating when you see all that money go down south and you don't see enough of it stay here in your community. Because you bear the disproportionate burden of producing the resource. Your roads feel it, your communities feel it, your schools feel it. We need to leave more of that money in your communities so that you can keep doing the hard work of powering up British Columbia. So when I say fair share, I don't just mean for the Peace River country. I mean it for the Northern Rockies. I mean it for the Northwest. I mean it for the Cariboo. And I mean it for the interior. Every resource community in this province that powers up, fuels up, feeds and clothes the rest of British Columbia deserves to keep more of that money. So we are going to enter into a fair share agreement with all of the resource communities of British Columbia. You are getting one now thanks to Pat Pym. And Pat Pym is going to be one of the guys that makes sure that we share those resources all across the province, because that natural gas in this community belongs to you before it belongs to anyone else, and we want to make sure you get the benefit of that. So let's keep going. We have a big challenge ahead of us. But what an opportunity to seize for British Columbia. What an incredible opportunity to change the future for our children. And there haven't been many elections where a generation has had a chance to make a difference, like the chance that we have now. So let's seize that opportunity now to make a difference for our kids. Let's be that generation that people look to and say, they were the visionaries. They were the ones that saw the future and who seized it with courage and strength. They were the ones that changed the future for our kids and our grandkids. Let's be that generation. Thank you very much, all of you.